I missed my chance to ever play PT. Chances are statistically good that you did as well. So when I heard Konami shadow dropped a new Silent Hill minigame, I dropped my whole to-do list for the day to download Silent Hill: The Short Message and play it straight through. PT was a free short horror experience serving as a demo for the now cancelled Silent Hills game. It was delisted from the PlayStation Store before I ever owned a PS4, which is a huge bummer since it was lauded as terrifying, immersive, and very well executed. But delisting did not delete the game from consoles on which it is already installed, so any lucky PS4 owners with PT still installed on it suddenly found themselves in possession of a rare treasure. It's my great white whale one day to someday play PT. But we're not here for that. Today's topic is Silent Hill: The Short Message. It's a new 90-minute tech demo / teaser for the upcoming Silent Hill 2 remake, but it's a freestanding game in its own right. And you can bet I'm leaving this installed on my PS5 permanently, just in case this one vanishes too. Let's talk about it. As the game starts, we wake up in a stereotypical horror game room full of cardboard boxes, metal shelves, and binders. Why is it always binders? There's also a hole in the wall. We're playing as generic Zoomer Saints Row reboot protagonist with the angsty lone wolf attitude of Squall Leonhardt. We've arrived at this grimy apartment building looking for our friend Maya. Turns out this may not be a Silent Hill game after all, but instead the long-awaited sequel to 1995's Mesoamerican educational banger Maya Quest. Gosh, I want to cover Maya Quest so bad. We're the only character we physically meet, but two girls text us throughout the game. There's Maya, who asked us to come here and find something. What that thing is, she won't say, but it ties into the title of the game. Also, Amelie, who is distinctly less haunted, messages us about things like work, going shopping, and being alive. She also alludes to something bad that happened with our classmates, but I'm not sure this event ever gets clarified. I was imagining a bullying incident and maybe some sort of revenge, since it sounds like multiple parties are at fault. Short Message follows a somewhat similar format to PT. You retread the same small area a few times, each time your surroundings getting more and more cursed. Also, this is a good time to mention that I have never before played a Silent Hill game, but I have interacted with enough media to understand some of the tropes. Now, I don't particularly want to run through the plot, both to leave you things to discover, and because the game frankly deals with a full Yahtzee of sensitive topics that I don't deign to blunderingly reinterpret. There's no avoiding that this game is dense with discussion and depictions of bullying, suicide, self-harm, and child abuse. I'm doing my best to keep most of my usual tone while emphasizing that I do not mean to make light of any of these topics. This game also touches on the economic downturn of '08, COVID anxiety, and social media addiction. Combine that with having to text message Zoomers, and this truly is a horror game for millennials. All we're missing is 9/11. So I already introed our two friends, Maya and Amelie. Our name is Anita. I appreciate that this game is not just about the protagonist. Any of the documents and videos we collect throughout the story may pertain to any of the three girls in turn, and we, the player, become familiar with the unique struggles of each girl. There's a modicum of comfort in not feeling alone, like we're the only broken person in this world. Maya is a graffiti artist whose murals we find throughout the game. Her art allegedly explores the hidden desires of women, which is odd because I don't see any art of taking walks and getting a little treat. Maya is depressed and has an obsession with cherry blossoms being beautiful as they fall off the tree, which she extrapolates to this whole tragic, beautiful things die young thing. She feels her heart beat to the beat of the drum. Amelie is less outwardly troubled, but her home life is unstable. She's focused her whole life so far around getting into college in order to escape home, but then economic failures impact her ability to do so. This is one that specifically resonated with me, as the state of the world and how it affected my family had a big effect on my school options. Anita is sort of at the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell, with both a troubled family life and self-worth issues. Anita, like Maya, is an artist, but her work doesn't get nearly the attention of Maya's, and she is not able to cope with that in a healthy way. We see her obsessing with likes and comments on her online posts and struggling with the feeling that she has to post provocatively online in order to get any attention. I said, making a clickbaity hype-chasing YouTube video. None of these girls is free of guilt, and the game deals a lot with themes of isolation versus connection. We're shown how fear and doubt cause further harm when reaching out to a friend really could have helped both parties. Now, Silent Hill: The Short Message is pretty light on actual gameplay. Most of the gameplay comes down to a few chase sequences. Sometimes when you open a door, there's a barbed wire cherry blossom monster waiting to chase us on the other side. Unfortunately, this is completely spoiled by the autosave indicator, which may as well be a blinking neon sign saying, "Yo, get ready." These 3 or 4 chase sequences, plus like half of a puzzle, are the only gamified aspects of the whole experience. But the chase sequences are well done. The monster is fast but not unfair, and if you pay attention to avoid clipping corners, you're barely fast enough to outpace it. The chases get more interesting as you go, requiring you to double back to pass the monster or collect keys in a maze. I love how the chases implement the Silent Hill behavior, with the world flipping from normal mode to the other world. You can even see fires burning below in some parts. After winning a chase, you're returned to the chill walking simulator segments to collect more lore and rebuild the tension. It's a solid formula, alternating safe exploratory segments with adrenaline. Outlast 2 comes to mind as a gameplay comparison. I mentioned that half a puzzle. Shout out to this combination lock for being super brute forceable. The numbers rotate nice and fast, and checking your answer is instantaneous. I found 3 of the numbers, but you should be able to solve it with just 2. Yes, I'm a menace in escape rooms. So, your character, Anita, will meet her downfall a few times in this game, waking up again in the starting room, but with the surroundings more cursed for the next go-round. It's this element that most recalls PT. You have to retread your steps, but with new events and building tension, because the building adds tension. I think that trope of revisiting an area, but knowing it's going to be worse, is a really powerful tool for scares. That feeling of, weird, this door wasn't ajar before, is so terrifying, because you know someone or something else is occupying the space with you. My scariest moment in this game wasn't a monster, but when this curtain just fell off the wall in an innocuous room. The game also plays some cool tricks on you. In one scene, as we relive a childhood memory, they subtly shrink down your player height, and I suddenly realized I was interacting with the world at the height of a child. So the plot is most of the time filled in through documents, but sometimes we get FMV of Maya speaking to us in this creepy Life is Strange white studio. It did a lot to humanize the girl texting us on our cell phone, but it would have been a little more immersive if these scenes weren't dubbed over with close-ups of her mouth as she spoke. The way Maya's lips don't match her spoken words, I felt like I was watching a desynced pirated DVD. When you get to the final chase sequence, this is a proper maze. You have to find 5 documents which serve as keys to gradually break locks off of the exit door. At first, when I realized progress resets for getting caught, I was annoyed by this. The maze is really hard to keep track of when you're running for your life. It doesn't help that there are doors everywhere, decoy spotlighted areas that don't contain a key, and a couple dead ends. And I'm so confused about what to do, sometimes I want to throw it all away. But slowly, annoyance changed to acceptance as I gained proficiency in the maze, like a boss fight, slowly recognizing patterns in the hallways, developing a route as you memorize how to get from key N to key N+1, recognizing how to tell when the monster is not on your ass so you can be a little more intentional. These are all emergent strategies that gave me a sense of progress, even though superficially you still lose that progress each time you fail. This is pretty well executed as a climax. This part alone was close to 30 minutes of my 90-minute playtime. Oh, and this door with all the locks on it, that's totally imagery from the cover of Silent Hill 4, The Room, right? One downside to this, though, it was so dark I was dying to not seeing corners, so I had to crank the brightness to win this final chase. Sorry that some of this footage will look washed out. After this final difficult chase is done, the short message gives you a little more info, then ends on a happy note, with Anita witnessing the sunrise, and a post-credits text message from Amelie, implying that we joined her at college, so neither of us loses a friend. And that's weird, right? For a Silent Hill game? If I didn't know any better, I would have the impression that Silent Hill games are walking simulators with happy endings, when in reality, they're usually survival horror games where even the good ending is bittersweet. Starting a video game series on a later title like this can give you some weird impressions. It gives me a little more appreciation for when series do reboots, when they remake an earlier title and return to their roots after the sequels became kind of entropic. Overall, Silent Hill: The Short Message was a positive experience for me. It's little more than a tech demo, but the game looked great. It told a poignant story, and it got me excited to play the coming Silent Hill 2 remake. And just in case they do the same thing again, you can bet I'm never uninstalling this one. Yet, because Short Message was less scary than PT and barely even gamey, I'm not sure this one will have the same legacy. I think because it's been 12 years since a main series Silent Hill game came out, Short Message did a good job of renewing the series in gamer consciousness, showcasing technical talent to build trust in the coming full game, and also modernizing their handling of trauma and mental health in a world that has become much more attuned to such topics since the last game. It's frankly a brave release, and from my point of view, they handled the subject matter sensitively while succeeding in using it as the foundation of horror. Some of the morals were on the nose, like the social media obsession, but not everything has to be subtle. I was also pleased to see COVID anxiety and social disconnection used as themes in a horror game. It's a very new and, to me, a very real issue that I would love to get more perspectives on and perhaps come to terms with by confronting it in a video game setting. I know this video was a little loose, walking a line between review, playthrough, and plot explanation, but with such a short experience, there's not a ton of meat on these bones. My goal was to give my impressions while leaving you enough reason to still go experience the game for yourself, and I hope you get to try it. While I have seen enough to be confident that I would enjoy previous Silent Hill games, I actually don't have access to any of those console-wise, so all I can do is look forward. We've got Silent Hill 2 coming up in the main series, plus there's supposed to be a spin-off called Townfall coming from the guys who did Stories Untold, a fantastic little horror game that Younger Mothy actually made a video on. But that's it for Silent Hill, the short message. For my first time ever, I have patrons to shout out. Thank all of you for blessing my channel with your early support, which means the world. Y'all allow me to make videos like this instead of purely chasing the algo. Horror has always been the main genre in my heart, so I would like to occasionally lean the channel a little bit in that direction. And thank you so much, the viewer, for watching. I needed a shorter project between as intended videos since those things really work me to the bone, but expect more of that content soon. For anyone who wants to interact with my little community more, I've got a Patreon and I stream on Twitch once a week. I would be happy to see you there. Until next time, peace out, Girl Scout.